Thanks for clicking in on what is admittedly a pretty sad day. I was reading, on Facebook, and message from Sergeant Thunderhoof, so Dan Flitcroft and the crew, pointing out that Paul Diano died, and uh, and man, it just kind of threw everything off. I've got a lot of production to do. I've got things I need to write. Mm, It's probably not going to happen, at least not until I get this out there. Uh, Man, being a boomer is a special thing. You know, of course, there are things that we experience that younger generations missed out on, but that's tempered for me by the fact that the new generations are catching things that I'm missing out on. It balances out. It's just the nature of things. But Paul Diano, man, um, Iron Maiden, uh, it was April of around 1980. Uh, I've always said that I bought the first Iron Maiden album the day it came out. I don't know if that's true, but it was really close. I come from Fremont, Ohio, the home of Bass Gear magazine, and other is sort of the Sauerkraut Festival. And anyway, I come from a small town in Ohio, and I went to Peaches Records and Tapes up near Toledo. And there's this album on the carts, and it was that zombie skull face with the glowing eyes and the spiked out hair. Iron Maiden. That's all that's written on it. It's one of those times where I bought the album simply because of what the cover looked like. And I remember taking that thing home, and my parents are home, so I had to have listened to them on a pair of Sony, I think they're HD 414s, the first open back head. But anyway, I, you know, I remember putting that album on, having no idea what I'm going to hear. And I hear something that's unlike anything else that was out at the time. It's different than anything that's out now, man. That Iron Maiden album was, that was literally killer, you know. That's the second album. But so I get this album on my headphones, and I'm completely blown away immediately because if you're coming from a basic heavy metal background, so Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, a little bit of Deep Purple thrown in, Nazareth, comes to mind with Hair of the Dog. There wasn't Iron Maiden just had a lot going on in it. You know what I mean? With Iron Maiden, you had the incredible drumming, you had the two lead guitars, you had the unbelievable bass line. By the way, I'm pulling it up. I'm kind of messed up in the head right now, to be honest. Putting that on was like being sucked into a different world. I was a junior in high school. I mean, Iron Maiden's first two albums are like the soundtrack to my junior and senior in high school. Um, and we've seen that with, I think, the character in Stranger Things. We have the new series out now called Hysteria. Um, all real, all real stuff. And for me, um, like I was saying, there was a lot going on with Iron Maiden because you had the killer twin guitar leads, which were, sorry, no disrespect, but way more aggressive than Judas Priest. The tempo and the bass playing it was a whole different new way of bass playing, So from the instant the Prowler hits, it's like, holy shit, what the hell is this? Um, Running Free, I don't know if I'll ever experience anything like hearing Phantom of the Opera for the first time. And as great as the guitars are, as great as the bass playing is, it's all iconic. It's Paul Diano's vocals. It's his delivery because he did not sound anything like David Coverdale or Ozzy or Dio and even Ian Gillan, um, Dan McCaffrey from Nazareth. He didn't have that really high pitched. He wasn't trying to sing, like he was a castrato. It was it was almost punk in its delivery. And I know they denied that it was punk, but man, the way that he gripped those vocals and he just he roared, but he didn't have to go 2 octaves above normal in order to, yeah, let me get that light out of my eyes. So yeah, Paul Diano, and I think Killers, yeah, for me was even a bigger deal. They changed the production, they swapped out some members, but Paul Diano. Um, then they got rid of him. And I've read the story. You've all read the stories. I'm not sure what's true. It would be interesting to see what the band says. I mean, it's always been Steve Harris's band, and that's fine. He he's made all the right decisions. But when Number of the Beast came out, that's the first album that I like probably unreasonably hated. I hated Bruce Dickinson. I hated everything about that. I didn't want to hear it because for me, Iron Maiden was Paul Diano, and Steve Harris and what they brought. Of course, yeah, a year or two later, and Number of the Beast is arguably the greatest single heavy metal album of all time. Of course, I love it. It's iconic. And Bruce Dickinson, yeah, they went places that they never could have gone with Paul Diano. But for those of us, and there wasn't many of us, man, that are buying this Iron Maiden album, you're not going to hear it on radio. You bought it for the vibe and for the cover alone. And for those of us that were of that age and that heard Paul Diano and Iron Maiden for the first time, it was like I said, it was the soundtrack of my life. It was really urban, you know. I think the movie The Warriors came out later on, and it just Iron Maiden would have fit into that. It was fierce, it was aggressive, it was predatory. It and to this day, nothing like them. So you know, all hail Iron Maiden and their current incarnation. But Paul Diano, he's 5 years older than I was, and it's a shame. It's a shame that he didn't hit the same heights as the rest of the band. I hope that all of you just take some time, listen. If you've never heard the first two Iron Maiden albums if you've never heard them, just go on to streaming or buy them, whatever, listen to them, and you can get at least a little hint of what it was like back then. Because to this day, there's nothing like the first two Iron Maiden albums and the way Paul Diano sang them. So I don't usually react hard to celebrities dying. People die, but Paul Diano, this one hits, and I just wanted to put up a video to commiserate with my fellow boomers because it's 1980, so um, it's a special place. And if you have memories of Iron Maiden, if you actually got to see Iron Maiden with Paul Diano, let us know in the comments. In the meantime, um, all hails to one of the great voices, the great innovators, and possibly even the tragic story of heavy metal. But Paul Diano, just damn, this one hurts. Thanks.